In this video, we're going to apply what we've learned so far to our map in order to identify where our options for action are. A map of the landscape helps us see more clearly how our industry today creates value for end users, who, in this case, are graduate students looking for business education courses. Economic rules of the game change the landscape, and this helps us identify where our opportunities for action are, and from where any threats to us might be coming from. And now, we're going to reveal the mapping playbook. These are 60+ moves we can make that we feel pretty confident our rivals will not see coming or be able to prepare against, because they don't have maps, and are playing the game without being able to see the board. The mapping playbook consists of 12 different categories of moves. Basic operational moves, like focusing on user needs. Moves around influencing user perceptions, such as educating consumers, or sowing fear, uncertainty, and doubt amongst them. Moves that accelerate the evolution of components, like using open approaches so components get adopted faster by the market. And conversely, moves that decelerate evolution, such as creating constraints in the industry, so the adoption of components launched by our rivals is slowed down. There are moves for dealing with toxicity, such as disposing of legacy IT systems, and market moves, such as differentiating our products or disintermediating, a fancy name for bypassing sales channels by going direct to consumers. There are also defensive moves, such as raising barriers to entry, to make it harder for potential rivals to enter our profitable industry and take us on. And then there are attacking moves, such as undermining barriers to entry, so we can enter new profitable markets ourselves. There are also ecosystem moves, like building alliances or developing two-factor markets to create niches we can exploit. Or we can make moves against competitors, such as ambushing them with tech drops or misdirection to redirect our rivals' attention while we do something else. There are also positional moves we can make, like launching a land grab or being a first mover to occupy the key real estate on which the future will be built. And finally, there are moves that poison the landscape through licensing or designing communities to fail that are a little bit, or completely, evil and are designed to make sure rivals don't threaten us. The moves one makes will depend on what the conditions in the landscape allows, where the opportunities and threats are, and the values your organization has. Some organizations might balk at making evil moves, but then they can't complain if others with different values to theirs make such moves against them. You must be prepared to defend yourself against these dark arts, and knowing the moves that could be made against you is your first step in both protecting yourself and outplaying rivals. Armed with our playbook, we can now look at the map of our business landscape, which we have simplified into 3 distinct phases. The biggest of these, with the most components, is the middle of the map, a transitional phase where components are slowly moving to the right as usage and certainty about them continues to increase. We make our revenue from the components here. These are our current products and services. Our priority is to not drop the ball or let others get too far ahead of us. Therefore, our moves here should be the basic operational ones from the playbook. Every business should be making these moves, but thankfully for those of you watching this video, very few do. This gives you an opportunity. Focusing on user needs is essential to discovering what our potential graduate students want. So listening to them, and the current graduate students, will be a rich source of insights about what we need to focus on next. We should also be more focused on effectiveness rather than efficiency. In other words, we should focus on doing the right things first, and then learning how to do them better later. Many organizations get this the wrong way round. These are the ones often dominated by their finance department who are fixated on the bottom line. So they focus on doing everything as cost efficiently as possible. But doing the wrong things well, merely to satisfy financial planners at budget time, can have a detrimental effect on customer satisfaction, as you end up focusing on things end users don't care about that much. You can then get locked into doing some suboptimal things simply because you do them well. And while you may be happy like this for a time, in your comfortable world where you are not being challenged, Eventually, users, if their needs are not being satisfied, will go elsewhere. Recognizing this, our business school is going to make efforts to create effective feedback loops between us and our end users, listening to them and acting on what we discover. Instead of focusing on doing things right, we're going to focus on doing the right things first, things that will delight our users. Then we're going to make multiple small improvements along the way that are necessary to keep getting better at whatever it is. We're also going to increase our situational awareness of the entire industry, keeping a close eye on global trends and what other business schools are doing to make sure we're responding quickly to any major breakthroughs. And this is the Red Queen effect in action, which prevents one player from dominating an industry. It's why not all cars are made by Ford, and not all smartphones are made by Apple. Others quickly caught up with them by copying what they did and making multiple small improvements, which were then, in turn, copied by others. If, however, a rival steals a big march on us with a huge improvement we can't copy quickly, then we might have to dip into the dark arts to slow down the adoption of this new component. We may try to alter user perceptions by sowing fear, uncertainty, and doubt about a rival business school delivering its entire curriculum exclusively online. We're concerned it might be popular. You don't want to study online and miss out on making the important personal collections for your future business network our marketing campaign might run. It might be a devilish move, of course, but what we're trying to do is make graduate students hesitate long enough for us to catch up and offer our own fully online version as well. Alternatively, if it's us that has made the breakthrough online, we might look to cooperate with technology providers to enhance this offering and accelerate its adoption more widely. These are some of the moves we might be looking to make in the middle of the map. In a nutshell, we're focusing here on listening to users and working with our own teams to make rapid, incremental improvements that provide us short-term advantages we can exploit. In contrast, components on the left-hand side of the map have a lower level of certainty about them, which means lower user demand. This is a far more fluid space and calls for us to make different moves. People won't ask for things they don't know exist. Therefore, even if we think we've discovered something new and valuable, we're still going to face the problem of there being no demand for it. Recall what Henry Ford said. If I'd asked customers what they wanted, they would have said a faster horse. Therefore, he had to gamble that his idea of a better way of doing things was right. For example, on our map, we think that genuine success stories, verifiable evidence that certain courses create real business success, could be a potential source of future value. And by this, we don't mean the tired old PR stories other business schools promote about successful alumni. What we mean is some way of showing genuine causation, linking our business courses to business success. We're not sure how to do this yet, as it's just a hypothesis. So we will put a small team of commando types on it. Those who are comfortable working with uncertainty and thrive when challenged to do something others haven't done before. If they make a breakthrough, showing how our course X led to business success Z, then this could be a potential differentiator for our business school. We could then task our marketing team to influence users' perceptions, educating them to expect and demand this standard from all business schools, which of course no one but us can provide at the moment. We may also task other small commando teams to explore the other high-order systems we've identified, such as those emerging from partnerships we've made with other business schools to share our facilities. At the moment, we feel the idea of creating a global campus has a lot of promise, especially if we can create them in the areas of the world that are becoming the new centers of gravity for business. Is this a gamble that can pay off? We don't know yet, but we may think it's a hypothesis that's worth exploring so we can give our team of commandos enough time and money to see if they can develop something tangible. What we can see here is that new innovative ideas, the kind that most organizations look for in order to try and gain an advantage over rivals, are often built on top of yesterday's efficiencies. We've already seen how other suppliers have built innovative components, like payment systems or multimedia integrations on top of websites, which are a specific, efficient platform. While our idea of providing a global campus is built on equally specific facilities we and our partners have invested in over decades. And the idea of providing success stories as genuine evidence of a business school's value will be built on the connections we developed with our alumni network, with whom we will try to conduct this research. And this reveals a deep source of new strategic moves that can only be seen with the aid of maps. Those mature components on the right of the map that users often complain about paying for, but which, if turned into cheaper, reliable services, can become platforms on which more valuable components can be built. And this rich source of what will be a new type of strategic move for many, the kind that can help you occupy the most valuable future real estate, like Amazon did with capturing the cloud computing industry on which modern industry is built, will be the topic of the final part of this series of Strategy Sessions Made Simple. So watch out for that.